Hiring workers. Your business is ready to hire its first worker. What do we do? Workers are needed to grow a business because it can increase the amount of work the business can do. It can serve more customers and businesses can stay open longer. There are generally two ways to get help for your business: independent contractors or employees. An independent contractor is a person, business, or corporation that provides goods or services to another entity under terms specified in a contract or within a verbal agreement. And an employee is a person employed for wages or salary. So let's take a look. Generally, independent contractors operate under a business name, have their own employees, maintain a separate business checking account, advertise their business services to other businesses, invoices for work completed, has more than one client, have their own set of tools, and set their own hours and keep business records. What this basically looks like is independent contractors are other businesses, okay? Whereas employees generally perform the duties dictated or controlled by others. They're given training for their work, and they work for only one employer. Okay. The differences for businesses is businesses that hire independent contracts, they have a contract start and end date, and then no additional payments are required. And when hiring independent contractors, they don't have to provide tools or specific training. So independent contractors are often much easier to hire because they are professionals, they do their own business, they're trained, they keep up their own taxes, everything. Whereas employees, the businesses, if they hire a worker to be an employee, they need to provide benefits, they need to pay additional taxes, they need to provide the tools and training in order to do their job right. From the worker's perspective, if one was a worker and they were going to go and work for a business either as an independent contractor or employee, there are differences too. Independent contractors generally have more freedom. They can work with many different companies. They do not get benefits. And the pay may be based off the work completed rather than the hours, okay? The employees, the difference is if you go to work for a business as an employee, you would have benefits, you'd have more job protection, and you would get training and tools provided as part of your employment generally. So do the following businesses hire their workers as independent contractors or employees? Why or why not? So this is a question to think about different types of businesses. Uber or Lyft drivers, this law may change about how these types of businesses, Uber or Lyft, can hire their drivers. So depending on when you're watching this video, they may be independent contractors and employees. McDonald's cashier, generally there are employees. They are employees because McDonald's controls when they can show up, you know, the training that they're provided, and they provide the benefits for them. Teachers are generally employees, but not always. Sometimes teachers can be hired as independent contractors to teach one class. So teachers can be either employees or independent contractors. It just depends on some of the control that the business has over them, and if they provide training, if they provide the tools, etc. And electricians too could be independent contractors or employees, just depending on many things, many factors. So one of the things to look at is who governs the law of employment. In California, that's the California Employment Development Department. And if you go to their website, you can see information about what employers need to do to hire their workers correctly, okay? There is a consequence for misclassifying workers. Often businesses want to hire people as independent contractors, but if they misclassify the worker in the wrong category, and hire them as an independent contractor when they should be an employee, there are some consequences. Under Labor Code Section 226.8, which prohibits the willful misclassification of individuals as independent contractors, there are civil penalties between $5,000 and $25,000 per violation. Willful misclassification is defined as voluntarily and knowingly misclassifying an employee as an independent contractor. So there are some consequences of getting it wrong. So we want to be very clear that we're working together correctly to identify the correct way a worker should be hired. Another consequence is that the workers themselves could file one or more of the following. They could file a wage claim with the Labor Commissioner's office. They could report the business of labor law violation with the Labor Commission's office for widespread violations affecting a group of workers, or they could even file a lawsuit in court. We want to avoid those things. You can ask the government for information. For one, they do have a document in the state of California. It's independent contractor versus employee, where you can learn a little bit more information. So I encourage students to read this link that's in the slides. You can also file an SS-8 form with the Internal Revenue Service, and you can ask them, the Internal Revenue Service, should they be employed or a self-employed independent contractor, and the government can tell you, okay?